And you know what Trump meetings are like. He's electric. He's got an incredible fastball. And I think that it was just exciting after all he'd been through, how strong this man is. I've never seen someone be able to just take all the heat that he's taken and come in there ready to lead. It took him about 2 minutes. I thought of you when he said this, drill, baby, drill.
Yes.
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 And that's the key to inflation. So he just talked about what we've been talking about.
How about tax cuts?
Absolutely. We got to do the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act.
A convicted felon met with Republican senators, and for some reason, Senator Marshall couldn't stop talking about his fastball or how excited he was to hear him mention the same tired policies that work exclusively for the rich at the expense of regular Americans.
It was great. You know, the president was really talking about his mission, his agenda. He talked a lot about wanting to make sure he could do everything he could to help House Republicans keep our majority and actually increase it, and what his personal time investments would be to helping members up here on Capitol Hill who are in tough re-elections, and also candidates who are in tough re-elections where we're trying to pick up seats to get some of the Democrats off of Capitol Hill and get our country back on track. That's what he was talking about. He also expanded in some policy areas, really thinking deeply about ways to make America great again, because we are a struggling nation right now with Joe Biden as president. And so he's taking the time to think through all those things, talk with the members of the House about them.
At least Byron Donalds resisted the normal GOP approach of telling Fox News that when Donald Trump walked into the room, time stood still. I gasped at the way he pulled out his chair and sat his ass down. The farts that were emitted raised my spirits. No one has ever passed gas so presidentially. The problem is that his lack of extreme ass-kissing might have killed his chances at being Trump's running mate. Remember that North Korea-style staff meeting that Trump made sure was broadcast when he was in the White House the first time?
Maybe start with Mike, and we'll just go around and just, you name your position, and then we'll ask these folks to go back and have a good day, and we're going to discuss our various reports. Mike?
Thank you, Mr. President, and just the greatest privilege of my life is to serve as Vice President to a president who's keeping his word to the American people.
Mr. President, it's great to be here and celebrate this group. We are receiving, as you know, I'm not sure the rest of you fully understand the support with law enforcement all over America.
And I want to thank you for keeping your commitment to the American workers.
My hat's off to you for taking that stand and for sending a clear message around the world that America is going to continue to lead in the area of energy.
It's a new day at the United Nations. You know, we now have a very strong voice. People know what the United States is for, they know what we're against, and they see us leading across the board.
With your direction, we were able to also focus on the forgotten man and woman who are the folks who are paying those taxes. So I appreciate your support and your direction in pulling that budget together.
President, what an incredible honor it is to lead the Department of Health and Human Services at this pivotal time under your leadership. I can't thank you enough for the privilege that you've given me and the leadership that you've shown.
Rex? Mr. President, thank you for the honor to serve the country. It's a great privilege you've given me.
I'm thrilled to have a chance to help you live up to your campaign promises.
Good. Thank you, Wilbur.
Hundreds and hundreds of people were just so thrilled, hanging out, watching the whole ceremony. I want to thank you for getting this country moving again.
First of all, I apologize for being late for work. In about 4 months, I got bogged down in that swamp that you've been trying to clean.
On behalf of the entire senior staff around you, Mr. President, we thank you for the opportunity and the blessing that you've given us to serve your agenda and the American people, and we're continuing to work very hard every day to accomplish those goals.
This is a team you've assembled that's working hand in glove for the betterment of America. And I want to thank you for that.
And now the Trump camp is saying it's making sure that the people they're surrounding him with are even more loyal than that group, which might be why this unofficial audition with elected Republicans was held behind closed doors. And now they can retell stories of his majestic presence in press conferences instead.
The former president gave his endorsement to this leadership team, and does he want you to continue to be the speaker after the November election?
He said very complimentary things about all of us. We had sustained applause. He said, I'm doing a very good job. I mean, we're grateful for that. Look, we have to have continuity in leadership. We have to have a plan, and it has to be very carefully executed.
Mike Johnson does seem a little relieved that he's safe for now. So it looks like the parade of defenders outside of his trial might have worked out. It also made Trump realize for the first time that he needs to act like he cares about their elections too, after placing the RNC in his family's hands to work solely for his campaign.
We have to get elected. We have to take this beautiful place and we have to make it really something very special again. Right now it's not special. Right now it's being scorned and being used as an example of when they look at the crime on the streets, when they look at all of the problems that we have, they're using us as a bad example of democracy. And they're getting away with murder, and we're not going to let it happen. So I just want to thank you for coming, and I want to thank everybody here. You're all either elected or you're going to be elected again and reelected. And
we'll see if his commitment to getting them elected and reelected goes beyond stated promises without any action or money being tossed their way, especially since there's one outspoken Republican in Senator Bill Cassidy that has regularly railed against his actions and vindictive words. His previous opposition to ever supporting Trump might be wavering.
Was it awkward being at that meeting, given your position on Trump?
I'm there to work for my state. I'm there to work for our country. So it's not awkward to work for someone who a poll show will be the next president.
Did he make any?
But are you still supporting him yet?
To the conviction vote?
Again, I'm there to work for my state.
But you're not supporting him yet, right?
I don't know how. See y'all guys. But it was
a yes or no answer.
Cassidy seems painfully conflicted about possibly supporting a guy that he hasn't been very willing to promote. He must have thought that the field of candidates would break through or that his legal issues would take care of him politically before he had to make a decision other than that he'll write a Republican in.
You decided that Donald Trump was unfit to ever hold federal office again. Your vote for convict said that as much. You've answered this question very carefully in the past, which you said you plan to support a Republican. If he is the nominee, can you vote for him? I know where you are on Biden. Can you vote for Trump?
You know, we're keeping our streak alive. Every time we've met, you've asked me about this.
I understand that. Well, it's I don't know why isn't it an easy answer?
Well, because I'm going to vote for a Republican. Yes, I am.
But you might have to write it in?
Might have to write it in.
It was pretty declarative then, so Trump must have actually said something encouraging or threatening for Senator Cassidy to announce that he'd like to work with him now, even though his public remarks about opposing him have stayed pretty much the same.
Republican Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana, one of only 7 Republicans who voted to convict Donald Trump in his impeachment for attempting to overturn the 2020 elections. He said on the first day of a second term, he would, quote, free those who've been charged and convicted with January 6th and committing crimes related to January 6th. Do you think that's appropriate?
I do not think it's appropriate. We're a nation of laws, and those folks were convicted. Many times they pled guilty. If you plead guilty, i.e., obviously you're not a patriot, you're somebody who committed a criminal act. So I think that would be a wrong signal if you're the chief executive and you're responsible for enforcing the laws.
Will you endorse Donald Trump, Senator?
I'm smiling because this keeps my streak unbroken on Meet the Press, where I'm asked a question either this or similar to that. At this point, all I will say is that I plan to vote for a Republican for the presidency of the United States. No, the answer I'm going to give, and the answer I've given consistently whenever asked on this on Meet the Press, is that I plan to vote for a Republican for the presidency of the United States.
You haven't endorsed him yet. Do you have any plans?
And I've answered this question so many times before, by the way.
Maybe instead of asking who he'll vote for over and over again, someone should ask him what Trump said in that closed-door meeting about Milwaukee, the city that the Republican convention will be held in July.
He said Milwaukee's a horrible city. Everybody comes out and says he didn't say it. Of course he said it. I mean, that is according to almost everybody in the room.
Jake Sherman of Punchbowl News made sure that many Democrats had something to take from the meeting, too, including the mayor of the city.
Donald Trump wants to talk about things that he thinks are horrible. All of us lived through his presidency, so right back at you, buddy. I'd say that. Look, obviously Donald Trump is wrong about something yet again. I find it kind of perplexing. I find it kind of strange that he would insult the largest city in Wisconsin because he's running for president. He obviously wants to win Wisconsin, win the election. And so to insult the state that's hosting your convention, I think is kind of bizarre, actually. It's kind of unhinged in a way, especially considering the fact that in Milwaukee, there are about 50,000 Republicans who live right here in the city. So you're calling their home horrible. I mean, I don't quite understand that.
Since it's a believable line from the former president, it doesn't take any imagination to hear him toss out how horrible a city is, especially considering his political disdain for higher population areas that don't usually vote his way. So Joe Biden got in on the potential revelation too. I happen to love Milwaukee. Now, this is when everybody loses me. Do we really care if Trump disparaged Milwaukee when it comes to deciding who to vote for? We know that Donald Trump hates any and everyone that doesn't kiss his ass. And hearing about that doesn't draw any independents towards Biden or any of them towards Trump either. It most likely reinforces MAGA's loyalty pledge to him and Biden supporters' airtight opposition to ever seeing Trump win again. So I don't know why his campaign spokesman and others felt the need to defend him. Wrong. Total BS. He never said it like how it's been falsely characterized as. He was talking about how terrible crime and voter fraud are. So if nothing else, his spokesperson revealed that he still can't allow his allies to even consider not claiming that the last election was stolen from him with that line about voter fraud in the state. Everything is a fealty test in MAGA world. He probably doesn't really think he needs their devotion to him. He just likes to have more mouthpieces spreading his gospel of lies to keep blind loyalists on the verge of attack just in case he loses again. So don't forget.
Everything that we do in the House of Representatives should be in the best interest of getting Donald Trump reelected. This guy right here.
The House Speaker runs a law firm. They only have one client, but it's a pretty big firm, and they work every day on behalf of that client, Donald Trump. And that's at the cost of everything that your viewers probably care about, keeping their kids safe from gun violence in their schools, making sure corporations aren't gouging you on your gas and your groceries, lowering your health care costs. None of that's being addressed.